Studying is hard. Working is hard. But studying plus working? Oh, now that is a double whammy, triple, double cheeked up kind of hard. But do not panic. If I can do it, then anyone can do it. Number one, eat that frog whilst you have the energy and the will to. So this point is kind of cool. I'm kind of excited to talk about it. But essentially there's three parts. So eating that frog, and then also having the energy that we're going to look at, and the will to. Eating that frog is a concept that is often attributed to the 19th century American author. And hold on, before I say his name, if you know anything about me, if you've watched my other YouTube videos, you know that I have a thing for butchering a researcher, academic, someone's name. But I'm going to try with his, okay? So he's a 19th century American author named, drumroll please, Mark Twain. Okay, cool, that wasn't that hard. And he said this: if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat two frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. Okay. So why are we talking about frogs? I will have you know that eating that frog is quite a cool concept. It's such a cool concept that Brian Tracy wrote a whole book about it. Eating that frog is essentially a task prioritization system where you do the most challenging and the most impactful, you have to make sure it's impactful now, the most challenging and the most impactful task first before you do any other task on your lengthy to-do list. And I think there is some truth to that. I think about how if you start your day with a very challenging and impactful piece of work, 9 times out of 10 the sense of accomplishment that you'll have after that will just make sure that you literally fly through your day. But remember I said that we need to have the energy and the will to as well. Now a lot of people would advise that if you're studying and you're working and you've got a lot of different commitments, then you should maximize, you should use every single hour of the day from 5 a.m. when you wake up till 10:30 p.m. 11 p.m. when you sleep. You should be doing everything during those hours of the day. Wrong. That is literally just asking to be inefficient and also to burn out as quick as possible. What about if I said to you, if I proposed to you that focus and energy are a lot more important than time? If after my 9 to 5 I had a block from 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. to do my uni work, that sounds like a lot of time, right? That's 5 whole hours to get my head down and do my uni work. That's a lot of time, right? Wrong. Objectively, yes, it's a lot of time, but how much effective work can I actually do within that block? What about if I am so tired after my 9 to 5 that I only have the energy to complete 30 minutes worth of work within that 5-hour block? It doesn't seem that impactful now, does it? You need to find out when you have the most energy and then structure your tasks around that. What is the point of having 5 hours in the evening dedicated to doing your uni work when you don't have the energy at all to complete that to the best of your ability anyway? Brian Tracy says this: identify your periods of highest mental and physical energy each day and structure your most important and demanding tasks around these times. Get lots of rest so you can perform at your best. Right now, I'm doing a master's and I'm in the stage where I'm completing my dissertation. Writing up my analysis, arguably to me, is a lot harder than sitting down and reading some articles for my literature review. So in the early mornings before my 9 to 5 starts, I would dedicate that time to doing the most challenging piece of work, which is writing up my findings. And then in the evenings, I would have that time to do something that's a bit more chill, like doing my reading, where I'm just reading a couple of articles from different academics and scholars and I'm highlighting them, I'm writing small points here and there. So by taking a leaf out of Brian Tracy's book, I have done my most challenging and impactful work first thing before everything else. And it makes sense because we've just established that it's in the mornings when we have the most energy. The last thing that we need now is the will. So research has found that the power of temptation increases as our days go by. So in the morning, our ability to resist temptation is all the way up here. We can resist it quite well. We are able to say no to that chocolate muffin. We're able to say no, we're not talking to that guy again. We're able to say a lot of things that we are not going to do and be able to resist that temptation very well. However, as the day goes by, our ability to resist that same temptation, it kind of decreases, and girl, by the end of the night we ain't got no self-control. And that's why some of y'all be eating midnight snacks. Okay, name butchering moment. So Dan Airley, he says this means that after a long day of saying no to various and sundry temptations, our capacity for resisting them diminishes. I have had so many days where I have said, okay, it's morning, I've done my workout, I'm up at 5, I come to sit down before I start my 9 to 5, I do some uni work, I'm looking at what I need to do, bish bash bosh, and then all of a sudden I see something that I need to do which is quite challenging, but then I think to myself, do you know what? I don't need to stress myself this early in the morning. I can do this later in the evening. It's okay, like I can do this later. But when that nightfall comes, the temptation to watch something, like to watch a show or to call a friend or to just spend time speaking to my sister, whatever it is, the temptation to do other things around me that is not the thing that I said I'd do earlier, it is at an all-time high. Therefore, we need to bear this in mind when we're planning our work days / studying days. So what does eating that frog whilst you have the energy and the will to do so mean? It means that we need to do the most challenging and impactful task first before doing any other task, which technically means that would be in the morning. And it makes sense because that's when we have the energy in the morning and the will, because our ability to resist temptation is all the way up here, to do so. Tip number 2 is to romanticize the experience. So I go to UCL, which is in central London, and my sister actually advised me to be going into uni. It's a great uni, you've always wanted to go there. It's not that I'm just going into uni to do my work. I am going into central London. I'm going into a lovely part. I'm going to Bloomsbury. I'm going to this lovely part in Russell Square, darling, to do my work. And I might get some Blank Street if I want to. I've never got Blank Street before, by the way. I might go and get this. I might get a lovely coffee. I don't really like coffee. I might get a lovely drink, a refresher, a cooler, whatever it is. And I have done that. And have a jolly good day. Like, it's summer. The sun is kind of shining. It's just romanticizing the experience. It's really helped. Also, that entails booking things in advance. So when I'm planning for my week, I like to slot in time to like see a friend after they're finished at work and I'm finished at uni, or looking forward to something else within that week, taking myself to the cinema to go and watch a film, like just to romanticize this experience a lot more. I am going to be listening to my favorite piano music, or I might see Mr. Man as well. Whatever you need to do to get yourself there, to romanticize this, just do it. It makes it a lot more helpful. Become a project manager. Project managers have a clear project plan before they start the project. And so what that means for you, dear student, is that you need to consider having a clear project plan. So that could be for your assignment or your dissertation. In my context, it's a dissertation, and I have to have a clear plan of what that will look like from now up until when it's due, which will be in September. And granted, things will change, things will shift up and down, left and right, even as they do in projects as well. But having a clear outlook of how the next few months is going to look like is key. And it's very important for project managers to establish key milestones. And that's what me and you are going to do as well. So our project, let's say in the context of my life, is this dissertation. So in terms of identifying key milestones, this is super important whilst you're working, whilst you're doing your 9 to 5 and other things at the same time. So you always have this clear direction of what you should be doing with your studies and how you're going to get there. So in terms of establishing these key milestones, I knew that by the end of May, I wanted to complete all fieldwork. I wanted all interviews to be done by May. I knew by the end of June, I wanted to finish my literature review, which never actually finishes, I think, until you actually submit the dissertation. But anyway, by July, I wanted to finish writing my methodology and my findings. By August, I wanted to finish my very first draft of everything, and then have a few weeks to keep making iterations of it, refining it until it's submitted in September. So those were all my key milestones. And having that big picture plan, having that monthly plan really helps to refine how your weekly plans will look like, what you want to finish by the end of this week, next week, and the week after that as well. So project managers also have to keep track of progress, and that is very important for me and you if we are working and if we're also studying at the same time. In order to keep on top, we have to review where we are. We have to review, have we finished this, have we finished that? And you might find project managers do this in different ways, by even visualizing the project through a Gantt chart and checking where we're up to, plan on a page, whatever it might be. But I think just taking that inspiration from project managers of just reviewing and tracking progress, seeing where we are with the project, that's really important. So for me, I need to look at the end of every week, where are we? And sometimes I do it middle of the week as well, just to see, okay, where are we now? It's Wednesday. I said I wanted to finish X by Sunday because I've got my deadline coming up. How close am I to finishing that? Do I need to rejig some things around? Do I need to spend more time on Friday night dedicated to doing this so I can get there? Just reviewing your progress on a weekly basis, and sometimes you can do it twice a week as well, is definitely taking inspiration from project managers, and it's something that we need to do as well. So in the spirit of setting deadlines and due dates and blah 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 like a project manager, tip number 3 is adhering to the best of our ability to Parkinson's law. So the idea of Parkinson's law is that work expands to fill the time allocated for its completion. Okay, what does that mean? Basically, it means if you say that something is going to take you 2 months to complete, then it will take you 2 months to complete, and you will drag your feet until that 2-month deadline comes up. However, if you say something is going to take you 1 week and it needs to be finished in that week, it will take you 1 week, and you'll do everything in your strength and your power to make sure it gets done within that 1 week. I'll give you a good example, right? So for my fieldwork, I was doing interviews, and I said I'm going to give myself like April and May and maybe the start of June to finish my fieldwork. When I tell you my first interview started a lot quicker or a lot sooner than I expected, right at the start of May, it meant that I could have finished my other interviews by midway through the month. But the way I was dragging my feet, because I knew that I had given myself a lot more time to finish the interviews. Oh, I can schedule it for here and schedule it for there. No. Like, I just wish I didn't do that, because I would have been a lot further ahead than I am now. But yeah, if I said it has to be done in May and that is it, I would have finished everything in May. So we need to adhere to Parkinson's law, and remember that if we say it's going to take quicker, then it will take quicker. So let's be a bit more strict with our deadlines so we can actually finish things quicker and get ahead with our dissertation, get ahead with our project in a quicker, more peaceful manner. Celebration Sundays or celebration Saturdays, whichever one you want to do. Before you plan your week, sit down and think, what do I need to accomplish this week to be able to be in a position on Saturday or on Sunday to be sipping on a cocktail, to be eating out with my friends, to go and see my man. You've got this celebration coming up on Saturday or Sunday, a mini one. It can just be going out to watch a film or whatever, right? But what do you need to accomplish to be in the position to go and have that celebration on Saturday or Sunday? So if we think back to the milestones that we discussed before, each one for the month, we can just break that down and think, okay, so what do I need to accomplish this week then? And by the end of that week, how can I celebrate? How can I schedule in some sort of celebration? I think it is good practice to celebrate small wins, weekly wins, because in the end, it will accumulate to one huge lifestyle change. I'm gonna have a celebration this Sunday for doing X, Y, and Z and completing it to the best of my ability. When you're doing your 9 to 5 and you're feeling tired and you know you've got some work to do after, some mini work to do after, you will know it's all gonna be worth it, because on Saturday or on Sunday, you have a celebration coming up. And it doesn't need to involve other people, but at least you know that there's something you're gonna celebrate yourself by completing this very difficult thing at the end of the week. Change your environment after work. I cannot stress this enough. If you work from home, if you do your 9 to 5 from home, change your environment. Go to a coffee shop. I remember I had an assignment due once. It meant that I had to be back to back in the morning doing my studying, but also after my 9 to 5 in the evenings, also did my studying until like 10 p.m. And it was a very intense time, but what made it really easy, or at least helped it a bit, was feeling like I had a new start to the day. So after finishing at 5 p.m, I would eat something, I'd chill, I'd watch something for like 20 minutes. Yes, I was eating my dinner that early. And then the last thing I was doing was having a shower. Yeah, and I already had a shower obviously after the gym in the morning, but I needed to have another shower to wake me up and just feel like this is a brand new day. And my mum actually saw the positive effects of this. She was like, oh, that shower thing is really helping you. I was like, yeah, girl, it is. And then after my shower, I would then take myself to a local coffee shop to go and do my work there. I have rested quickly, I've had some food, I have gone in the shower, and I've now also changed my environment. And although I was doing this in a very short time of space, from like 5 p.m. up until like 6:45, it's nearly 2 hours, right, to do all of that. And it just felt like, oh, now I'm in the zone. And I was doing like maybe 3.5 hours in the coffee shop, but I was doing so much work. And I'm telling you right now, if I try to do that work in the same place where I do my 9 to 5, because I was working from home, oh no, it wouldn't have worked. You need to get out of that environment. You need to switch off completely from work, freshen up, freshen yourself, and then start your new day doing your studying in the evening. And there are a whole host of places you can go. You can go to a coffee shop, you can go to a co-working space, you can go to the library. I understand, however, that not everyone is able to go to the library, a coffee shop, or co-working space. If it means that you have to do it in your house, then I would advise doing it somewhere that isn't the same room, the same place where you did your 9 to 5. So let's say that you have an office and work office where you do your 9 to 5. I would suggest that you go downstairs maybe to the dining room and sit on the dining table and do your studying there instead, or wherever else, whether it's in your room. If you have a desk in your room, maybe you can do it there, but just changing your environment. And if I still understand that there are still some people who are unable to do their work in a different place in the house, and if that is the case, if you're unable to leave externally outside of the house and you're unable to go to a different room in the house and you have to stay in the same room where you did your 9 to 5, then what might be helpful is still changing the environment a bit by, like, firstly cleaning up your space, cleaning up everything on your desk, giving it a nice wipe down, putting on some candles, changing the lights, putting on some music in the back, some very like relaxing kind of studying or focus music, changing something, altering something in the room so it feels like a brand new environment. This tip is quite a small and quick tip, but it's just to remember that this is for a season. It is seasonal. This is something that really helps me get through. I had to remember that this is not gonna last forever. I'm not gonna be working a 9 to 5 forever, firstly, and I'm also not gonna be studying forever as well. And what I'm definitely not gonna be doing forever is studying and doing a 9 to 5, okay? This is just for a season, and after a few months, after this year, whatever it is, I'm gonna be done with that. I'm not gonna be doing these two things that that are a bit difficult. And once I get through these months, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna have our champagne celebration and we're gonna finish, okay? We have everything that we need to do it. We have the grit, we have the determination, we have the discipline, the ambition, the support. We have what we need to get it done, and we are going to get it done. Guys, we made it. You made it. I made it to the end of this video. I hope these tips have been helpful if you are studying and working at the same time. Let me know if you have any tips, tricks, and habits and hacks that you have that have helped you, so we can just, we can talk about it. But most importantly, it will help the other people that are watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps this video reach the right people, more people. Maybe those people can send it to them people that they know are studying and working at the same time. But yeah, ultimately, I hope this helps. If you are a master's student and it's the summertime and you got your disso due in September, hold on, girl, hold on. We are gonna get there soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video blessed you in the way that it needed to bless you. Bye, guys. Okay, a name butchering moment. So Dan Early says that this means that after a long day of saying no to various and sundry Tip number 3 is Parkinson's law, which essentially is, this will, one, get you excited, and I just think it's really just,